Welcome to the Beantown Bully podcast. I'm your host, Bosh. Let's get right into it. Now, I know I'm kind of late. Xbox out here just passing that bussy up to everyone. Games here, games there, coming to PlayStation. Everyone already knew. Everyone already knew. It's not even, it's like the worst kept secret in gaming, you know, besides, GTA being hacked. Not once, but twice. Stuff like that. But it's okay. Xbox, it's okay. There's still people who don't care and they say they bleed green. Most of those people moved on to PC. So, does it really matter anymore? I don't really think so. But this console war, if you're still about that life, it's looking like Xbox has been stomped into the finest of wine. Now, they're still trying to pull it off. They're still trying to state that, oh, it's only a couple games. Realistically, it's going to be the majority of games. We're still waiting. I should say I'm still waiting for Xbox to be like Halo. Let's get a let's go. Get that Halo on PlayStation. Let's get those numbers up. Xbox should be whoring themselves out of third party. Most of these companies are going to be whoring themselves out of third party. So PC's getting everything. PC will wait. The PC Master wait. They'll get it. Now they mentioned a couple games. We already know most likely this Diablo's going. Here's the thing. I want Xbox to dive in their bag, bring back some of these, let's say 360 games, early Xbox games that can get a revival. Now, if you want to just throw them in Game Pass and make them only accessible in Game Pass, cool. Do that. I don't understand how much money you would make because again, these are subscription services. I don't really understand their model to really be sure on how they actually make money. Now, I feel like their overhead, they're spending way more money than they need to on keeping these things. But this is what I want. So dive in the bag, give me that army of two, one, two, and three. Drop it. Just drop it a complete bundle. Let's get it. Alright? This should be PlayStation and Xbox should have a company that just goes back, remaster, remake their old games and drop it again. That's just do it. If you got the numbers, do it. Now, what are you saying? You like, well, actually, I kind of want the graphics to be updated to the best it can possibly be. And I'm kind of leaning on Xbox to do it because Xbox doesn't have any games. Yes, Xbox does have games, but you know what I mean. They could spend more time in revitalizing these old games. What the hell is that RPG game I was thinking of? Hold on. I really need to figure this shit out. Now they can bring back. They're already working on Fable. Give us some Blue Dragon. I don't know if Blue Dragon's still hitting. Give us that Lost Odyssey. Let's see what else. Give us that Last Remnant. I'm saying that there's something here. Uh, Kingdom on the Fire. I wouldn't say it's an RPG, but whatever. Give us that Kingdom on the Fire right now because nobody's doing that. Magna Carta 2. Fucking love this RPG. Bring that back. That's '09. That's how far back I'm going. They did. There is a Kingdom of Amalur already been remade, remastered, whatever you want to say. But here's the issue. I don't think, or I haven't heard of anything happening with the sequel. So there was a lot of talks about it. Hey, Remnants of Fate. They got some. They got some. Just bring these back under the Xbox umbrella and let's eat. Xbox has been starving out here. Fuck it. Bring back Black. Because Master Chief is not carrying it anymore. Actually, I might be a PlayStation get. I'm pretty sure I brought this up already. Black might have to be a PlayStation get. Bring that up. Make that a first party. Again, since they're not delving into this place is not delving into their multiplayer bag, their first person shooter bag, they might need to focus on Killzone. Killzone is always an option, but I feel like they don't know what they want to do with Killzone. Because I think they tried to do a soft reboot on Killzone and it didn't really ended well. But it can be something. It can be something, and they just need to take the chance. Now, if they want to take a chance on, making a new IP out of scratch, cool. I don't know how much is that's gonna work. I would hope they would do it. Decide to actually put some work in instead of being some lazy fucks. The bullshit they have. Hopefully, Fable actually come out here and do some damage. Put Xbox's name back on the map. Now they did start taking off the Xbox logo on this stuff and just says Game Pass on it. Cool. Let Game Pass rock. Have Game Pass go out on the consoles. Fantasy Star, the new one they have, that didn't look like they really even put some real time and effort into that. I really feel Rise of the Argonauts, that's not an Xbox game, but I feel like if they can buy the rights to it, because nobody, like this whole action adventure games, again, it was great for what it was, and I feel like it deserves a comeback. Rise of the Argonauts, if you haven't played it, it is actually I bought it again. Bring me back that Jade Empire. BioWare should just hop on these because BioWare actually, the right people from BioWare, the people who left, if they come back and get into their bag and be like, all right, fuck it, let's make a Jade Empire type game, let's make a Rise of the Argonauts type game, let's make something that rivals Mass Effect. You guys have what it takes. This is just something that they have. They can actually just spend time in building these up. Now, again, the issue is that the return. Are they going to have the funds to immediately? No. They got to clear a bunch of shit. They got to spend more money. But let's just be realistic. They should make a whole new tier of Game Pass. Yeah, you got Ultimate. Yeah, you can keep raising the Ultimate price. Fuck all that. They should make a whole new tier of Game Pass. You know what? Fuck all that. They're gonna raise Game Pass up anyway. Let's just be realistic. They should trickle down these games, and they should be like, all right, if you want to play this game, you gotta lock in for the year. Again, people might be like the same thing, consumer, blah 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 blah. But let's think about this business wise. Business. All right, yo, you buy Game Pass for the year, you lock in, you're basically going to be a different tier. Game Pass for the year should be a different tier. Now, whatever the price may be, or if they want to be like, you know what? If they want to segment it off, Game Pass Ultimate, and just make it a tier by itself, now you can get PlayStation into it, you can get Nintendo into it, you can get PC into it. Probably be the best option to segment itself. Maybe people don't want the offerings of Game Pass. Maybe the Game Pass offerings is not as lucrative as people really want to believe. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But we already know Game Pass is going to go up and up and up and up. It's not. I don't think it's sustainable with the current prices. I don't know if people's even actually diving into it now. Plus, it has competition. There's Sony's whatever the Sony version of it is. But Sony also has the catalog to pull up. Xbox is not really pulling that catalog. Now, stick to the RPG bag. Sony kind of moved away from the JRPGs. Hop in that. Make that your lane. Start reviving those games. And they will have a force to be reckoned with. Now, with the other games, I don't know. I don't know if most of these games are even worth it. I'm looking at some of these games. Two Worlds. Is Two Worlds made by Spider? I think that was strictly an Xbox game. That can't be made by Spider, right? Okay. It's not made by Spider. Maybe Spider needed to take over this and do something to her. Spider seems to be slowly but surely coming into their bag. Is it just called Spider? Hold on. Had to double check. It is called Spider. Now, Spider has been slowly getting into their bag. Again, they need to do something about the little awkward movements a little bit. Their story is kind of feeling it. They're dropping a Greedfall 2. Seen the trailer for that. I'm a little excited. I think they did Elix 2. Elix 1 and 2. But I feel like we just need to stick to these lanes. Elix. Let me just double check on Elix. Because I feel like it's a spider game. And it is. No. Piranha Bytes. Well, that's another game. Another freaking company that's coming up. Now, both of these, Spider and Piranha Bytes. Piranha Bytes I only know for Elix. I do believe Spider had Greed's Fall and Technomancer. And they probably had something else. But I fucked with Technomancer heavy. That's when I was in a drought. I needed something to play. Boom, boom, boom. I think I should play that around the time I played Dragon Age Inquisition? Possibly. It's either before or after. I was in a drought. And that was the game. Now, since someone has to be the king of these RPGs. Someone has to do it. I'm not gonna say they're gonna take over, but someone is, because BioWare was that team that we were like, all right, boom, 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 you guys got it. You gave us Dragon Age 2, Dragon Age Inquisition. People are feeling the Dreadwolf. We don't even know how scary that game is gonna be because everyone important left. The Mass Effect trilogy, but here's the problem. Now that you had all those people leaving, you gotta look at, well, you gave us Anthem. The flying mechanics, Anthem, barebone Anthem. If they drop an Anthem 2 and actually put some work into it, again, it's gonna be a game as a service, cool. But if you give us some type of actual work, put some work in, make it stupid fun, give us that type of Helldivers actual funness, play off of it. Don't be too serious on the world or whatnot. Maybe, I don't know. I don't want it to be too much like Helldivers. But Anthem, bare bones, what you can actually do in the game, the flying, the weight of the game, that was actually pretty good. But I feel like everybody's chasing that Destiny high, and they're trying to get this Destiny bag. Is what's really fucking them over. Now, yes, I went on a little tangent, but that all wraps into Xbox can start doing things with these IPs. Maybe fund some of these games, future projects, like Sony's done for Street Fighter. Was it Street Fighter 5 or Street Fighter 6? One of them. Sony fund the project. Sony be putting up money for some of these games, and you have to look at that and be like, all right, if Sony's pulling up numbers, we need to do something to start, putting our name out there, getting some of these exclusives for a little bit. Again, Xbox exclusives shouldn't be the end all be all with Xbox, because as of right now, no one's buying an Xbox. No one's buying an Xbox for anything. Like, nothing. There would be no reason. Well, if you have a child, you want to just have them sit in front of an Xbox and give them Game Pass. Like, all right, you can play any of the games that's in here. Boom. Cool. But I gave out multiple scenarios in multiple podcasts about how Xbox can come back. Now, they're going to have to play the long game. They've been taking these lumps, and none of these lumps have done anything well. Like, none of these lumps were like, okay, this is a learning lump. I don't feel like they learned from any of these steps that they've been trying to do. Now, Game Pass subscribers, they keep saying 34 million. Has it not gone up? Because there's PC Game Pass. Has it not gone up? Is it not enticing? Again, the day one drops. Maybe they're just paying too much for these day one drops. That's what they need to look at. They need to look at some of these games. They gotta see and gauge what the audience thinks of it. Is this hot fire? Or is this Dylan? We need to figure out what's going on. Xbox, again, doesn't need to go away. I don't think it should go away. I think it might need to play this field a little bit, go the Sega route, make their games, put it on all the platforms, build a base. I feel like right now, they should stop next generation. Don't even do it to themselves. They should continue dropping games. Like again, most of these third-party games are gonna play as well as they're gonna play, because graphics hasn't even jumped up from PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5, 360, Xbox Series X, and then Xbox X. Those There hasn't been a graphical leap in any of these type of things. I'm not seeing this. Now, if you want to talk about hard load times stuff like that, all that's just bullshit. Fuck all that. Now, Xbox might have to fall back on that dropping that next system, right? Fall back and games. Again, a lot of people's gonna be like, yo, da 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 da. Once they start building these hits, once they start cultivating these companies, scouting individuals, stop buying companies, scout individual teams. Because every time you guys buy like a group of teams, you don't need everybody. So fuck all that, fuck all this, and that whole everybody buying companies and whatnot, being hands offish, fuck all that. Put your foot on these bitches' necks. I'm tired of it. I am tired of games coming out unfinished. Then pitchers want to talk about crunch. Fuck that. Do your job. You're getting paid for this. If you can't keep up, quit. And if quitting you lose your home, then live on the streets. And if you're going to live on the streets, you suck dick for your next meal. I'm tired of this. These people who are working these jobs, all right? Well, people who work at gaming, I have to believe there's some type of like, yo, I like what I do. When I take pride and be like, yo, I worked on this game. When this game has, if you're directing it or if you're making a character or whatnot and people vibe with the character or people really hate the character, being your character being like the Joffrey of it, like that character was so great, so polarizing that people like despise them, but he was necessary, not because your character's just shit. That's what I'm talking about. These people, they can do it. All these hiring and like all these people getting hired and all these people getting fired, cool. All right, boom. But there's a lot of there's a lot of game companies that are working, and I don't like when we start to even. Let's just take a look at this. I don't like how we just got into this whole realm of like, oh, well, for some reason, we need to know this. We need to know who got fired or hired or whatnot. Why? Why do we care who's getting fired from a company? Why do we care? Like, why is that a thing? Why is knowing how many people are getting fired, 10%, 50%, 13%, like, all these numbers, no one gives a fuck. Like, people complain about the crunch. Most of these people are hired for a specific task and their contract to do the job. Now, again, that's not all of them, but I believe a high percentage of all these people that are getting let go or fired or whatnot, they're not really fired, but let go. It's people that were hired to do a specific task for a game. Once they completed the task, they were no necessary. Now, they're trying to make it seem like it's ominous of like, oh, this and this is happening. We should worry about it. Oh, what about all these people losing their jobs? How does that look? That doesn't really affect the company as an overall. There's the core team, and there's the team the team that's brought upon, the individuals who get brought on to help finish the game and get these bullet points or these schedule points, these goal points hit at a certain point. That's what there is. An extra body to know what they're doing, to focus on these other things, while the main core team is making sure that what actually needs to happen in the game. If we need someone to do lighting and stuff like that effects, we can have a third party do it. If a core feature in the game, like the fighting mechanics, that needs to work. How the character's face look. Someone doing the terrain, that's a third party. We can have a third party fix up the lighting and stuff like that on terrain. Major bosses and stuff like that, core team. There's a lot of, like, when was this even popular for companies even talk about, oh, for news, not just say companies, there's news articles like, hey, these people lost. Everybody knows what it is. A lot of contractors are being brought in, and since we know that, it's like the people who don't know it or people who decided they want to just pay attention to it when it's happening all in like this whole bubble. It's a lot worse than it is. Now, let's move past that and let's talk about Sweet Baby Inc. Now, here's the thing. Maybe it might be a hot take. I don't know. I don't want to put this on them, but we'll have to see. Because there's other people who's just been in the game industry who's just been doing weirdo shit, and we've been giving them passes, and we haven't really been focusing on them. But they're saying this is was it Anita Sarkeesian Part 2, Gamergate Part 2. Cool. Let's tackle that a little bit. Now, quote unquote, everything is woke now. Everything is like, I guess the term woke is for anything that has, you know, people of color in it or has somebody disabled. I guess it's the case. But here's the real situation. Let's say a game like Spider-Man. You're feeling this world and you're trying to make it an open world type game, right? You're trying to make it seem like alive. So you're trying to put as much questions in. A lot of this extra shit is interchangeable. Like, oh, we found someone who's basically is a loner, blah 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 blah. Their family doesn't understand them, blah blah blah. Now we can put in like, oh, to give that character more depth, we can make us a black kid, a Spanish kid, an adopted kid, we can make him disabled for some reason. Again, any reason to enrich that, side character or just individual side mission character, some type of depth in him that's they're not really gonna touch on. They're gonna have like this little quote unquote meet cute type shit that is gonna be, oh, it makes you feel a little, touch a little heartstring, blah blah, and then move past it. It's probably gonna give you like 1 or 2 missions, and you're never even gonna see that character again. Now, that is mostly what people are. I feel like that's the actual like, yo, if that is what your job is, then cool. There's a lot of like all these open world games, all these games that have side characters and whatnot, that you're literally just gonna be like, oh, hi and bye, do like a fucking fetch quest for. If you want to give them more depth, cool. Now, here's the other talking point about that. Now, what if they're going in and pushing an agenda in the game? They're making it more about this. Now, when people talk like that, and if this is actually happening, again, this is only my opinion. That first part was just me being like, all right, if they're doing that one thing, cool, I don't really care. Now, if they're being like, you know what, we're just going to put a game like, let's just put like a superhero game and just force some gay undertones for some reason. Why would you do that? If the character's not gay, what's the point? If the character was never gay, that's also what's the point? Now, I'm just using the whole gay point just to point out things, because I want to keep this as cleanly as possible in my point and the other point. Now, Anita Sarkeesian, but here's the other issue. The masculine, making female look more masculine, and then if you have a female character who actually looks like a female, it actually like proportion and size like a female, whatnot, and they don't look like straight sewage, then that's a problem. I also have a problem with that too. Like, you guys have to just figure out what you want here. Because if the object of the game is that you want quote unquote real women don't look like ass. You throwing a transgender into a game, cool. If you're throwing this transgender character into the game, or you're build off around it, them just being trans shouldn't be the only focal point. Again, if you want to just have them have that one instance like that, or you want to build that around their overall person, cool. But I hate when I see shows that I feel like when you introduce a gay person into the show, or someone who's down low into the show, and it doesn't make sense to the overall story. Now, there was a TV show,
I probably brought this up. It was a TV show about uh two brothers. Their father died. Okay, actually, you run that back a little. This TV show is about an American guy who was from the Middle East and America, who was born in the Middle East. He came to America. He married a white woman. He had kids. His father and his other brother lived back in the Middle East, and he was a dictator. His father dies. His brother's running the country. He's kind of a little ruthless. The Americanized son, comes back home to, last will of his father, see the funeral and whatnot, brings his family. The brother's praising him, da da da. He's talking up about his family, but there's a little tension because people believe, hey, you should be the leader because this guy doesn't know what he's doing, blah blah blah. I can't really remember the name, but that was the overall story. And I'm like, all right, cool. Now he's doing it. Things people are like talking to him. He's starting to see things and whatnot. His family's kind of oblivious, but they're not peeping it because they're keeping it. The people around the town is keeping it very hush hush. That sounds great, right? Then fucking his daughter tries to trying to find herself, so she's out there. She's kind of oblivious a little bit because she's like a princess there, so she's just walking around. Everybody's praising the family, whatnot. The wife is not really noticing anything. Now the son, for some strange reason, we have no inkling that the son is gay. I think we're in like 15, 16 episodes in. We find out that and again, in that era or in that area, gays are not a thing. Shouldn't happen. It's blasphemy. Blah blah blah. Now you brought in the gay. You brought in his son. This is the son's arc now. The son, he really didn't have anything, so they gave him something because again he was the youngest. He was trying to get girls. He wasn't really working out. Blah blah blah. Cool. Bum. Now the son's gay at his arc. Like he's starting to get like this gay awakening and whatnot. Now, that threw me for a loop because again, we're in so many episodes in, there was nothing like leading this. If they were like building that up when he was an American and came over here, just knowing how the Middle East gets down with the gays. Now again, I can't be like the Middle East get down with the gays. I shouldn't even said that, but it's not really promoted, so it is what it is. Over here, fucking, they're injecting it into your vein. Over there, like, hey, don't ask, don't tell type shit. Keep your colorless flags at your own home. So, some type of happy medium needs to happen, but whatever. So that was what I was talking about. With the overall story, because again, you have to build these characters up and give them something. Give them their own personal struggles, because again, you're supposed to have this show last for a couple seasons. Overall, that's what you're supposed to do. The show got canceled, I believe, and it was one of those shows I was like, this was actually good TV. The son being gay, that I felt like everything else was hitting because his wife was oblivious. Like she was just like in love with being treated like a queen and whatnot, whatever the case may be, like royalty. Just like her daughter. Her daughter was like, again, if I just felt like throwing in that gay part for the son blindsided me. I was like, oh, what? You didn't even build this up. You didn't spend enough time cultivating this. And that's what threw me for a loop. Now, if you want to talk about just interchangeable characters, is it Knock on the Cabin or Cabin in the Woods? The one with Batista in it? Now, if we're talking about that, the child and the two dads, that whole thing could have just been, they could have put whatever they wanted in that. But here's the difference. Me watching that movie, I didn't care that the people were gay. I didn't care that they had an adopted child or whatnot. I didn't care about any of that. Because I automatically interpreted that, yeah, they're just who they are. This is it. They're just who they are. With the other show that I was talking about, I felt like they threw this in to try to boost ratings. Because with the M. Night Shyamalan movie, it was literally just like, hey, this is what it is. In my mind, I was like, after watching it, I was like, yeah, those characters are all interchangeable. There could have been a lesbian couple. There could have been a straight couple. There could have been, Like they could have had all that. Technically, if they wanted to, they could have made a transgender couple. I don't know how well that would actually work out, but they could have. But the main family is interchangeable, and that's how we things need to be normalized to that extent that it's interchangeable. But there's a lot of people who are arguing about, um, they're doing this again. They may be part of they may be putting out the extremes and things like that. There may be people who are extreme in their camp, which I hope that they're not. I hope that they're curving those people who are wild, because there's always those wild bunch who want to just shove shit down your throat for no apparent reason. Fucking fuck it. Let's just make like a third of the game everybody gay for no reason. That type of shit. Let's just promote something. Let's fuck it. Let's talk about Ukraine and Russia. Let's talk about let's talk about AIDS. Let's talk about all this. Let's let's bring back good storytelling. Let's also focus on we should also know that there's interchangeable characters. They don't mean enough to the story, or if they do mean something, the characters are so interchangeable, them choosing down this route doesn't affect it. Now, there's some people who got a hard on it and be like, yo, they should have been a white couple. They should have been a black couple. They should have been this and this. The child should have been this. All that. Now, they're promoting some things. Now, they're pushing some games. They're making, I heard Killer Shark in the Suicide Squad game was gay or bisexual for some reason. I'm just like, see, it's not that I'm offended at that point. I'm just like, that was just a weird choice. And if they really feel some type of way, why didn't you guys just introduce a gay character? We have a list of plenty of characters to go through, especially with the DC, superhero genre. There's plenty of characters. There's plenty of characters gay. How about let's actually shine a light on these characters? And it's the same thing I say about black characters. Put these other black characters up front. I'm still waiting for a Static Shock game. I'm still waiting for a Static Shock TV show. I'm waiting for all this. Now, Black Lightning, the TV show, a little weird. I just felt like it had that on it. Like it wasn't up to par. But maybe I need to give it some more. Again, he started off a whole family and everything like that. Hate that. I don't. I don't like that. Build me up into the whole you having a family like that. Because it's a little weird. It's a little weird in my mind. I'm like, it's just I don't care for children. I don't care for children. So that was probably like the whole children dynamic. Oh, I'm not gonna see my father, even though he's a superhero. Oh, I found out my father's a superhero. All that extra bullshit. Yeah, but now Sweet Baby Inc. I just hope that they pull the reins on some of these freaking kamikaze type people who just want to just push all this shit in. Now, are they necessary? I don't know, man. Are they necessary? I kind of think a little bit, but you can't just be going around and just be like, I'm just gonna just fucking race swap all these characters, gender swap all these characters, sex swap all these characters. Well, this person now fucking, again, they don't need to do all this. If you're talking about background side characters, you're building up things that may have a bigger part in the game than people realize. Cool. Let's talk about that. So, especially in the Spider-Man game, this man's a teenager, so he's going through all the teenage angst and whatnot, or whatever, however old he's supposed to be. But again, Miles is the younger one. So, teenage angst, blah 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 blah. We got that into Spider-Man, Across the Universe, Enter the Universe, whichever one. So he's gonna meet these type of characters and whatnot. Cool. I just feel that we need to like zero in and not. I don't want to say subtly, but like they kind of have to pick and choose about, because I would like to see more people of color as characters in games. I like to have the option to do it. Like pretty much all the heroes, all the main characters in most video games. I shouldn't say all the heroes. Most of the heroes in all video games, most of the heroes in fucking superheroes are all white. Now, can you blame them? No. But that should be an opportunity. Like, okay, we're gonna introduce a new character. So if we're gonna have a Marvel video game or DC video game, how about you start with bring some other flavors to the fold. If you're gonna keep like so, let's say we had Cyborg in the Justice League movie. In the game, he is still black. So I'm just saying that we need to I wouldn't say pick our battles, but we need to focus on what the actual issue is. Because if there's people complaining about like, oh, uh, where's all my white superheroes? Come on, man, come on. Now, pretty much the Justice League is made up out of all white superheroes. People can be like, oh, well, Green Lantern. The main Green Lantern is white. All the other, I think, there's one other Green Lantern that's like Spanish, but all the other ones are white, except the aliens. Cool. All the I think all the Robins white. Cool. I'm just saying, it's we should make more characters, more diverse characters in general. Don't race swap them. Don't do this and this and this. And before we go into the whole like, oh, what about all the other race swap movies with the Disney princesses and shit like that? I'm like, I don't think I care enough about those. If they want to do that, Cinderella and stuff like that. Well, Cinderella and those, I just feel like the story holds up their own. Like you can you can bring in people if you want to, like the Little Mermaid. I haven't watched it. Don't plan on watching it. I don't. I just don't care enough for it. It's not that I care because she's black or whatnot. I just was like that movie wasn't for me anyway. Now them making it a black character, I don't feel like that's crazy. People went left and like they were like Twitter was crazy. Like niggas can't swim, shit like that. Twitter was crazy, all right? The media was crazy, and I'm just looking. I was like, well, she's like the most popular child child recognizing star right now that I can think of. Now, could you have used Taylor Swift? You probably could have put Taylor Swift in there, right? That probably was an option for them. But Taylor Swift's numbers probably would have been way too high. So let's just think about that. Doesn't she still fall in love with like a white man at the end of the movie or in the movie? So I'm just like, what? So what did they really do? Also, if we're talking about like race swapping and gender swapping, Battlestar Galactica, Starbuck, that character is a guy in the original. They made it a female in the freaking remake or the reboot or whatever you want to call it. Again, I love Battlestar Galactica. I've actually went back and watched the original. I'm not gonna lie, I like the new one, hands down. Probably one of the best TV shows ever made. Now people can say that people be talking about that at Game of Stones. I, I'm not gonna say that. Battlestar Galactica, Fringe, best shows in the world. But back to this Beast, Sweet Baby Inc. thing. I don't think if you buy the games that they're a part of, you're the villain. You're supporting them. Actually, you are supporting them, but they've worked on. They're not making anything. They help worked on. But again, the things that they're doing is so minuscule. Like you're putting in missions by default. Most missions are all white people in most of these games. All side missions. I should say most missions. All side missions. Just generic family, generic person has an issue. If they're telling you, hey, give this person this, give this person that, cool, that's side story type shit. Now, main story. If they're working on main story and they're changing things, again, if your character is good enough, race swapping doesn't matter. And I'm not talking about characters that are built from the ground up for decades being a white character then becoming a black character. Unlike The Little Mermaid, that was a kids movie. She was a recognizable face. They banked on it. Cool. But I'm talking about superheroes. James Bond being black. Idris Elba, I feel like he could have did the role. But James Bond being a woman, because 007 being a woman, I don't know if I would have liked that. But here's the thing. They had Atomic Blonde, right? Atomic Blonde. You could say it's a James Bond. They had Red Sparrow. Atomic Blonde's better. Red Sparrow, They got Anna. So there's there's these spy women, these female leads. There's some other ones, but I can't really think of them. But I'm just naming the ones I can think of off the top of my head. Those those worked. Now, the funny thing is, I don't think people can like actually look at a woman and be like, oh, she can take like 7 people down, like John Wick the end, stuff like that. Again, but we've come to this point that where characters actually getting beaten down. You're not gonna have a woman character who's just gonna be like The Rock, tussle a couple times, a couple throws, roll on the floor a little bit, and then he wins the fight. You know what I'm saying? Or Vin Diesel, those type of characters. If you're gonna have a woman character, she has to be built for it. So if she's gonna be built like The Rock and everything, and she's throwing people around, cool. But if she's not, you gotta make it. You gotta have her go through the fight more realistically. She gotta get these hits in. But like she gotta get these like Atomic Bomb. She was getting fucked up, but she was doing what she needed to do. Atomic Bomb, if you haven't seen it, good movie, great movie, I should say. It's definitely a watch. I moved way past the whole Sweet Piggy Inc. thing, but I was just giving you a bunch of examples. But just knowing that they themselves, there's gonna be a lot of eyes on them. Again, that whole Anita Sarkeesian was on development of a whole bunch of games, stuff like that, made people look real retarded. I think she was a part of. I may be talking out there. I think she was a part of, or her and her team was a part of, Mass Effect Andromeda. The faces were looking fucking crazy. The women were looking more manually. Just faces in general. I just don't know why the female characters have to be like. You guys don't want them to be sexualized, but men can be sexualized all they want. Let's just have these guys walk around with their shirts off, right? And boxers all the time. Let's just have all this. But then the women have to be like fully dressed all the time. It's like, yo, it is what it is at this point. Don't be a prude about men being naked, because women got to be naked too. Like, don't be a prude about these things. And I'm gonna end it with that. Almost an hour of talking. But I'm your host again, Basha. Thank you for listening. I'm trying to put more episodes out. I gotta stick to some actual schedule, but a lot is happening, so I was just like, you know what, fuck it. Let me just throw all this shit in together. Um, Xbox, people bleeding green. They want a Suicide Watch. Right now, it's the time. It's the time for Xbox to come through and do what they need to do and get this dub. All right, just background, promote these games, build these games up.